Um, I'm a huge Florida State fan, but as you can see, I don't even have on an FSU jersey. I got on a Pride Fighting Championships shirt. How funny, I'm wearing something that represents MMA, but I'm talking about football, college football. Anyways, back to my prediction. Normally I do these kind of prediction videos like a month and a half at most before the actual season starts. I think it's okay to give a prediction on this game in particular ahead of time because I looked at both rosters, and even though I love Florida State and anything can happen in college football, you know, I gotta go with LSU in this game. Many reasons. First reason, it's in Louisiana, so LSU is gonna have an advantage anyway. Number two will be coaches. I don't think Norvell's a bad coach. I think he's a great coach. He's doing a good job with Florida State in terms of what he had to work with from the beginning till now. But Brian Kelly is a much more experienced coach. He's already beaten Norvell twice with Notre Dame, and now he's gonna have a more talented team than he ever did with Notre Dame. So you're telling me Norvell's gonna finally beat him? Okay. Um, Thing is, he's a more experienced coach too. He's had at least 150 games as a head coach, right? Maybe more. Winningest coach in Notre Dame history. He's done everything except win a big game like a bowl game or a national championship or even a playoff game or a conference championship. So he hasn't done much in terms of that. But now he's with LSU, so that's more likely. Um, Thing is, LSU's flooded with five-star talent right now. Florida State does not have that kind of talent advantage like they did 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago when they were national champion, or at least competing for a national championship in terms of talent. They're a good team. I think they'll be a great team in 2022. I think they'll be competitive. They'll win more games than they did last year. I think honestly with this LSU game, there's a lot at stake for both teams, but clearly LSU is going to be the better team. I think in terms of the five-star thing, that's the biggest problem. Not to mention it's in Louisiana, which I've already said. Uh, I just don't see where. And Florida State's got a problem, a consistent problem. I still think it's going to be their weakness on the offensive line. They don't block good defensive fronts. It's not changing with LSU. LSU's always got a good defensive front against anybody, and it's going to expose FSU again. Now, the thing is, I don't think. Here's how I see it. Florida State's offensive line has what it takes to be mediocre, average at best. Even in that case, it's going to have a hard time against LSU's pass rush. LSU's always had a good pass rush, and that ain't changing. You can ask Alabama. They lost to Alabama, but it was a close game because of that pass rush. Um, that's why they'll lose. And Florida State's defense, it will continue to get better. But LSU, like I said, 5 stars, receivers. You think you telling me you're gonna stop LSU's offense with a coach that actually wins games more often than Orgeron did, and is a proven winner in his state? No. Okay. At best case scenario, this game is closer than it should be. Okay, with turnovers on LSU's part, and if FSU plays a complete game, I still don't think they can play a complete game by then. I still think they might self-destruct and have turnovers. At worst, at best case scenario, again, LSU is still the better team. As far as a score prediction, uh, I gotta go with LSU 41-24. I don't think they'll blow them out of the water. I think it's gonna be a good game just because Florida State's hungry and wants to win against a top 10, possibly top 5 caliber talent team like LSU in Louisiana, but they just don't have enough firepower. LSU is just gonna be too big and too powerful, too fast, too talented for FSU. It'll show later in the game. Usually, how Michigan and Ohio State usually looks, not like this past year where Michigan's a really good team, well, Ohio State's just better. That's just what it is. So that's what you'll see here. They'll probably have some self-inflicting penalties, some self-inflicting turnovers. LSU will capitalize and manage to pull away 41-24. Something like that. I mean, I'm not saying it's not possible for FSU to win just because, again, Norvell's hungry, FSU's hungry, and they need to win more games. They're tired of being disrespected, but it's just not going to be enough. And trust me, Brian Kelly, even though he hasn't won a championship, you got to understand he was at Notre Dame. He was not in a team that recruited better than them. And Notre Dame's good, no disrespect, but LSU's easier to recruit. Alabama, Auburn, not Miami, Oregon, big time winning schools. They're easy to recruit at because of who they are. and I think that'll show in that game. I'm sorry. I'm not saying Florida State's gonna suck. It's just for that game. I'm not giving them a chance to win that game. No, hopefully I'm wrong, but I gotta go with the Tigers.